Yeah, I don't know.
Well, good evening, y'all. How's
How,
everybody doing?
howdy, howdy.
How's everybody doing? This is day 140,
140.
and we're still alive. We haven't died yet. We haven't succumbed to liver failure, scurvy.
Heart attacks.
Um, our our ailments continue to improve. So,
Mhm.
we get asked all the time, how long are you going to do that? And I would say, as long as it improves or maintains our health, I think that's how long we're going to do it.
Mhm.
It's very interesting. Dr. Baker, I don't know if y'all caught that interview or whatever, but he said, I don't think that everybody should be on the carnivore diet. He's like, it's a tool to use to overcome disease and whatnot.
Mhm.
And he stays on the diet because it works for him and his lifestyle and it makes him feel great and whatever.
Mhm.
But very well balanced view and application.
I think a lot of people do in that spectrum, like in that carnivore field. Lisa, Aaron, howdy, howdy. I'm so glad that y'all joined us this evening. We just got back from a walk. Well, my little ones were bike riding, and I was walking, and so
And me and the boys just got back from mountain readiness, so
and
we did a cannonball run, 900-mile drive one way, and so that's a 16-hour drive out, 15-hour drive back. And normally, with my previous state of health, if I drove more than an hour or two, I would be borderline cripple. But we did 900 miles out.
it would
Yeah.
mess you up for days.
Oh yeah.
Even last
Yeah.
year when we went out to get your stem cell done
Yeah.
in Dallas, just the drive
Couple
out
hour,
there
2-3 hour
and
drive.
back was like it put you out for a few days.
Debilitating. Yeah.
Yes. So that's pretty amazing. Not to mention that a lot of trips you just weren't able to go on at all, or
Yeah.
you would be laying back, like pretty much laying down in the seat, and
Yeah.
someone else would be
Yeah.
driving.
And it would take me days to just recover from driving.
Mm-hmm.
And what I had to do is, before we knew exactly what was going on, I would hang ankle weights to put traction on
I
my
forgot
shoulder,
about that.
and I would
Yes.
drive like that. And
That'd be horrible.
I did that for
No,
months,
you
like even
wore
at work.
those heavy ankle weights around your shoulders
Yeah, I
all
wore them
day
all day
long
long. Yeah.
while you were at work because it took some of the
It
pressure
released the pressure
off the
with
joint.
the joint. Yeah.
Yeah.
It created space in the joint too.
Oh, the good old
But
days.
then eventually the scar tissue just impacted the whole thing, and it was
Ugh,
bad and
it was
news.
bad. So that's why my hair looks like this, y'all, Lisa and Aaron, because I've been out on a walk with my kids.
Don't
And
judge.
don't judge. I'm like,
And this is what my hair looks like.
whatever.
So I
Hat
wear a
hair.
hat.
We are all.
But I do have I will be getting a haircut with my barber I think tomorrow or
Yeah. So I have a little bit of coffee here too.
I have a fabulous barber. He's awesome.
We're coffee carnivore. Speaking of which, you did an experiment a couple weeks back. You took coffee out.
I kicked coffee because I wanted to make sure that it was
My
not
coffee's hot.
negatively impacting me in any way. So I just stopped drinking coffee, and I wanted to also prove to myself that I wasn't addicted to it or needed it, and so I stopped drinking it. Didn't have any headaches, didn't have any negative withdrawal symptoms, but I didn't have any positive overall positive impacts. I stayed
Right.
off for like a week
It was a
or
week.
two or something like that, and I'm like, well, um, so I was like, when Faith was like, "Oh, so you're drinking a cup of coffee?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I was off it for a
Yeah.
week, and it didn't
He didn't notice any improvement.
didn't feel any better or any worse.
Mhm.
So I'm like, and and actually, I've even this morning
Mhm.
I'm experimenting with this whole egg thing. So
Oh,
I'm
tell
ramping up
me.
ramping up the eggs in the coffee.
Now, I tried the eggs in the coffee and I can't do it.
The coffee is
But go
just
ahead.
a delivery system to drink the eggs. And so now I'm up to 8 raw eggs in the coffee, and I didn't do
Wow.
any honey. I just did
Okay.
coffee and 8 raw eggs, and you feel inordinately full when you drink 8 large eggs.
It's so good for you.
But you feel great and
That's
everything. Just
good.
trying to super load on the fat deal and get my fat ratio. And it's kind of, I mean, eggs are incredible when you look at the macros. It's just kind of like unbelievable. And if you're eating them raw, you're getting all the macros, and it's almost like a 1-to-1. And I'm eating farm fresh eggs usually.
Yeah.
And what's kind of hilarious is where our hens are only laying about maybe a dozen a day now on a good day, is all around here there's little houses and people are selling farm fresh eggs. And I was coming back from maybe like Winsboro or something. I went to look at a job and I drove past this house, fresh eggs. So I like pull in, and I was like, do y'all have eggs? She's like, yeah, if the sign's not covered, we have eggs. I was like, well, how many eggs? And she was like, we got like 8 dozen or so. And I was like, okay, I'll take all of them, and it's great, $3 a dozen. Usually folks around here are selling like $3 a dozen. And so I just stockpile. We buy from one of our neighbors down the street, but we usually clean her out, and it takes her a while to recuperate. But yeah, I'm experimenting with ramping up the raw eggs. I'd like to try to do a dozen a day. Yeah. Just to kind of, we had.
I'm glad that you're trying cutting out the honey and just playing around with that to see what that does.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything, unfortunately.
You don't.
What's even?
Well, wait a minute. It doesn't do anything, but did you have you measured your ketones?
Yeah.
And does it help
I did,
you?
and it didn't. That's what was so crazy. I was so disappointed. Like,
really?
Yeah,
it didn't
I'm
kick
like,
you into
dude,
a higher ketosis.
Nope. Not only that. So yesterday morning, I'm like, okay, cool. So I've been off. I haven't put any honey in for like 3 days. So I'm going to do the ketone strip, right? It was 0.
Yeah. Now, interesting enough, I was 0.
I'm like, cool.
So I had gone from like crazy high, like back like a month or 2 ago. I was like hanging out at like 16 and between 16 and 8 constantly. It was kind of freaking me out. And then that was just a phase that my body kind of went through for no apparent reason. And then all of a sudden I just dropped down to like a 4, and I just been hanging out at 4. And then I tried to do a 5-day fast for Jeff DeProsperous, and I made it.
Killed herself. Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't kill myself, but I made it to like day 4.5. And about halfway through the 4th day, I started really feeling like I was going to pass out or something, and I really needed to eat something. And I was drinking and everything. I was doing everything right. Had my electrolytes. I was doing
water,
doing everything right. I was taking it easy. Like day 2, I felt like Superwoman. Day 2, I like worked from morning till night outside painting. But day 3, I kicked it down. Day 4, I really kicked it down. And 4.5 day was max that I did. And then I did go ahead and eat because I didn't feel like it was good for me anymore. And so that was really great. That threw me into a higher level of ketosis. I think I got to like 8 after I tested that. I was like just curious, and it wasn't immediate because it was like an afterthought, like a day or 2 later. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I fasted. I wonder if that did anything. And then I like tested it, and I was like, oh, it was still at 8 like 2 days later. But my mom came to visit, and I mean, I was strict carnivore. Like, I mean, we're always strict carnivore, but I was very like nothing extra at all. And I went to 0, which I think proves that your body does come in. Well, my body does come in and out of ketosis, which is probably very, very healthy. Because I know there's like this whole debate on, is it healthy to stay in ketosis long term? But I think for me, personally, what happens is my body fluctuates. I go through deeper phases and then lighter phases,
I mean,
and
it
then
would
like
have
zero.
to with that, what's that, with the glucose conversion, Genesis glucose, whatever that word, that
Right. When your body starts to
converting glucose, you would think that, I don't know exactly how the strip tests it.
Right. It's not a perfect
just,
test either.
chemicals or whatever.
But I mean, it's something, and we're not neurotic about it.
Yeah,
like
I could give it. Hey, as long as I feel good and sleep good,
Yeah.
I could honestly give a rip what my ketones. Like.
Yeah. Chaffy says, don't worry about the scale. Don't worry about ketones. Just give your body time, eat the right way, and just give your body time, and you're going to get to where you're at.
And if y'all haven't seen it, at Mountain Readiness in North Carolina, a subscriber of ours, Randy, drove up from Orlando to, it was almost an emotional experience for me, y'all. I almost cried because here's this like awesome dude. He drives up from Orlando and he's like, I just wanted to thank y'all for doing what you do and putting this info out. He's like, I started Carnivore 5 weeks ago, very resistant to the idea. I did it. My back pain's gone.
Well, he did it kind of half-heartedly in the beginning too. And then, I don't know, a few weeks into it, then he was like, okay, I got to do this thing like serious. So.
Yeah.
That's
it was really
amazing.
great. We got to talk and hang out a little bit. And it's always funny because people that watch you on YouTube, they like, so what's it like, being famous, so to speak? And one, we're so shadow banned, it's kind of hilarious because we're the most non-famous YouTuber.
No, we're not famous.
We're infamously non-consequential or whatever. So it's kind of funny.
Well, we're just normal, regular people, and we're super duper low key in our everyday life. And it's just like when you meet, well, it's the same with us. When we meet people from YouTube, like, I'm like, oh, you're interviewing who? Or like, oh, wow, we're going to get to meet who? Like, it's just like bigger than life because you watch people every single day and you just, I don't know. It's really exciting to meet people. So I get it.
That's why the medium's weird.
But it is weird from our end because we're just like, hey, yeah, we're just like regular people. So who are you? So whatever, like, let's just talk. Like, we don't have the nerves on our side, but then some people feel like that. That's happened to me a couple times with some ladies in town.
People get real.
And I totally get it. Cause if I met some of my like favorite YouTuber people and like we have in the past, but like, oh my, that would be like, it would be weird. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
She gets all dolled up for y'all.
I try. I try. So
I brush my teeth with
anyway,
broccoli.
Yes, somebody posted a Thomas DeLawyer. He is very, very good on ketones. I watched some of his videos when I was freaking out about my high ketone state, like a couple months into Carnivore. But anyway, the cool thing is, I think, is that we continue to encourage people like in a very like non-invasive way, hopefully, but just like, as we come across people in our everyday life.
And this is what's more why this is a greater phenomenon is because from a very large perspective overview, it sounds counterintuitive and it sounds insane. Like, just eat meat. And that's regardless of the propaganda perspective, like meat's going to cause diabetes and all this stuff. Like, first off, that's just mentally, like, that's beyond stupid. So, but I'm talking about even outside the propaganda. It's just like, wait a minute. Like, if I just eat meat, like these things that have been plaguing me for decades are going to go away. And they're going to go away in like a couple weeks. Not for everybody. Sometimes it might take you 30, 60, 90 days. But in 90 days, you're telling me
Crazy.
that 80 to 90 to 100% of everything that I've struggled and battled with and like questioned, you know,
It's really wild.
everything that has plagued me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me it's going to go away. And like, how rewarding is that? How, first off, how is there anything that's simpler? Is there
Right.
anything more non-complex?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Is there anything easier to do? And we're talking about all types of inflammatory things. We're talking about all types of immune stuff. We're talking about joint stuff, back stuff, stenosis stuff, bulging, crushed disc stuff, um, IBS, you know, and y'all know, 80% of everybody you know has IBS. Okay. And they're not going to tell you, but when you work with a bunch of dudes, I'm telling you, 80% of the dudes I work with all have massive debilitating gut issues. And these, when this IBS goes long term, people are getting their, you know, bowels and colon cut out and all kind of nonsense. And it's just like, you know, if, because here's the thing, it is a tool. Like, what if, okay, so you're not hardcore and you can't do it. What if you did it for 90 days, right? Once a year. And you like reversed all your stuff, right? And you get your body functioning. Because I would wager that once you got your body from stop like destroying itself and you start reintroducing other stuff, you could probably get back to some kind of balanced diet, whatever even that even means. First off, it's relative anyway. Right. Okay. But
once you reach your goals of where you wanted to be, which I mean, it's hard to say too, because it's like a lot of people that have been carnivore for many, many years say that you're going to still continue to see improvement into year 4 and 5.
Yeah. That's what Baker said. He's like, you're going to continue to, and stuff's going to go away that you didn't even realize was there.
Right.
And that was one of my biggest benefits was just.
And that's the motivating factor, because it's like, well, why would I quit in 30 days in or 90 days in or a year in? What if that second year, it's so like, what if I continue to realize like really positive benefits?
Yeah.
And what about the third year and the fourth year? Like, I want to see where I land.
Right. If you don't stay devoted to it, you're gonna miss out on the potential of it. Tringo wants to know which electrolytes we use. We use Relight, and I like the Dr. Berg's. Yeah. You know, and the Dr. Berg's is a great price point too. But we use Relight and Dr. Berg's. Yeah. And we are Relight affiliates, and I always forget to post the Relight affiliate link. And I should put it in our videos.
And I am a fan of the flavored Relight, and I gave it to my mom. My mom was on visiting for 5 days. She did carnivore for 5 days straight, and she loved it. She was super into it.
My dog Brian likes the Berg. I like Dr. Berg's too.
Okay. I'm
the only one that likes the Dr. Berg, but
to me, like the having the Relight or Dr. Berg's, I don't prefer the Dr. Berg's, but the having that and putting that in the water, it just encourages me to drink. So then I know I'm going to get 32 ounces twice a day, because that's how I take mine. That was Nisha Berry's recommendation, was twice a day, 32 ounces. Make sure you're putting it in 32 ounces of water. But there's lots of options I was noticing on Amazon too, of just like pill supplements for potassium and magnesium. Just making sure, like if you look at Relight or Elements and look at the grams of sodium and potassium and magnesium, and then find a supplement that, even if it just has potassium and magnesium at those same levels, you could just take a pill supplement. If you don't have a problem with drinking water, like you drink a lot of water.
Yeah, I sweat a lot and I drink a lot of water.
So that's not a hard habit for you.
Very simple.
But for me, I don't drink a lot I don't drink hardly any water unless if I make myself. So for me, having the Relight just backed that up. And it did taste like ocean water, like straight up like salt water to me for
Oh, and
the
I
first couple days.
yeah, I always love, and part of what kind of got I craved the sugar, yeah, well, I craved the salt so much that I started just, because I normally don't eat during the day, but I would get these organic potato chips and olive oil or avocado oil, like what are they, Colorado? I forget the brand.
Confessions.
And really, that's why I was carrying around the extra 10 pounds, was because
potato chips.
Yeah, I craved that salt so bad. I would eat like a bag a day, just like around lunchtime.
Because you wanted something salty.
Yeah, I wasn't hungry, but I'm just like, man, that just tastes so good. I always have
the oils too.
I've always craved salt like that. Like that's why I really like I like the Relight too, but I really like the Dr. Berg's. I mean, I like that salty taste, and that's why I put a lot of salt in my food too.
Yeah. So it's cool. So my mom's going back and she's doing carnivore, easing into it. She's easing into it. So I would say like 90% maybe. And her husband and a couple other people that she's close with, they're all going to do it and take pictures and send pictures of their meals to each other. So that was really cool. Also, I had a friend of mine this week who is very underweight, and I was encouraging her because she had some different issues, like big health issues come up. And I said, you should really consider looking into a ketogenic diet because, I've had all kinds of similar health issues in the past. And I would just encourage you to look into it. I'm not trying to be bossy or anything, but just that's my 2 cents. And she was like, well, I'm afraid that I would lose weight. And so I shared with her the Sophia Loves Steak channel. And I got to share with her how, like, a lot of people who have suffered from being bulimic or anorexic are actually finding healing through eating carnivore or a ketogenic diet because they can actually eat and be satiated and be full.
And it's gut and cognitive,
Yes,
it's brain stuff, all those eating disorders are psychological. There's a lot to it and all, but like if you can balance out your hormones and your serotonin and all your stuff in your brain, you're just going to have a way better perspective. And this is something else that I've noticed, because people talk about anxiety, and I get anxiety, and I always thought that was weird. I'm like, man, what are these people talking about? They get anxiety. And when I didn't sleep at night, I would wake up and I would think about work items, right? And actually, I think it's what people call anxiety. I'm like, oh, I didn't do that quote, or I forgot to put that thing on my to-do list. And man, I'm supposed to do that for like a week now, and I keep forgetting, and I remember at 2:00 in the morning. And so like I keep thinking on it, so I can't go back to sleep. But I think that is what these people are calling about anxiety.
Well, you're sleeping through the night now, and you're not making up lists in your head at night. So that's very good. And the other cool thing is that, well, I haven't shared it yet, but my grandfather has been like pounding, he's been trying to put on weight. So he's been pounding eggnog like nobody's business, because that's usually how he tries to put on weight.
And he's 80 some years.
It's like ice cream and eggnog and all this stuff. But I want to get to share with him because I figured out this week through the interview that you and Matt did with Dr. Baker. Dr. Baker said, I think he's around 240 pounds.
Sure. Yeah, probably somewhere in there.
He said that on the interview you did at 240, 245, something like that. He said his weight. And then also I was listening to a Dr. Chaffy video earlier this week, and he said that his weight hangs out right around 240 pounds. And I was like, well, I'm going to share that with my grandfather because that just goes to prove once again that those guys are big and they are only eating like, I know most of the time Chaffy said he's like only eating like once a day, like big, massive meals. I don't know if that's always his routine, but it just goes to prove that you don't have to like slam carbs and sugar to put on weight. You can, and I also sent her the video from the guy, it's like Chris something. He was vegan and then he went carnivore.
Yeah. The real scrawny, frail dude.
Oh, it's an incredible video.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it brings you to optimum body weight anyway.
Yeah.
So that's
good. And let's see. Tammy wanted to know, will the diet fight infections? Oh yeah. I mean, you're getting nutrient dense and it's going to balance out your gut and all that stuff. So it's definitely going to, and you're going to get a lot of the regenerative.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that I was listening to Saladino or somebody today, but it got me thinking about, the whole concept and we've been healthy kind of vitamin-y, crunchy people for a long time. And my dad, when I was very young, like less than 10 or probably 8 or 6 or somewhere, he got diagnosed with heavy metal poisonings. He worked in a cannery, had multiple types of heavy metal poisoning. And so he started with a chiropractor doing chelation therapy, taking these different chelated vitamins, and that was back in the day. That was like, I'm talking about, wow, that was like 40 years ago. I am 47 and wow, that makes me feel old, but I feel great. Makes me, wow, that's interesting. So, wow.
Welcome to
40
the
years ago. Welcome to the
party.
party. You really need to eat meat. Okay.
If you're in the 40 club, leave us some love in the comments.
So I've been taking vitamins for 40 years and, and I've always kept up with it and read up on it.
Yeah.
I still take a Mercola protocol because of the things and the whatnots, because of whatever. Not that I necessarily even think that I have to, but think about like all these different supplements, whether it's just basics is C, zinc, and these different things. And one, how unsustainable it is. Two, how incredibly difficult it is to like stockpile these things because they expire and different things, even if they even are what they say they are.
Yeah.
And if they don't have the heavy metals and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, the cost of it, right?
Yeah.
And if you convert your diet and your diet reverses all these disease and ailments and weight and everything, and then there's no need for a closet full of vitamins.
There's no need for supplements.
Talk about the savings. And people, the first thing you get all the time, and I really, it's because people won't try it, but they're just like, yeah, but it's just I can't afford it. And I'm like, no, dude, you're only eating meat. It's going to be the cheapest way for you to eat. And you are going to literally not just save money, but you're going to feel great.
And you're going to have time to do lots of other things like go for walks, go for bike rides. We had a campfire tonight.
Yeah, like these people eat 6 times a day. Like I don't eat 6 times. I definitely eat once a day.
Me and my little kids got knitting looms, and we were like last night when it was dinner time, we had already eaten earlier. So food was done, checked off. Like we didn't even have to worry about it. And we were like sitting on the floor in the bedroom doing little knitting loom things together. And I was just thinking about that, like how much more time we have for life because we're not in the kitchen making these big meals, cleaning up from these big meals. It simplifies everything.
Okay, now hold on a second. Neva is watching on 4 computers. Like,
wow.
Is that like for like stereophonic sound, or
I don't know.
are there literally like 4 people in your house watching
that actually can stand us?
That is a very
who was the other? It was Mercola, but who was the other doctor that our friends sent us all of the protocol for him?
oh wait, Say this again. I'm sorry.
It was the thing that I don't speak of.
Okay. And who asked for the
protocol.
protocol?
It was the protocol for not Marcola, but the other one. Doctor. Oh,
Zelenko?
no. Remember
Zeb.
our friends from Indiana sent
Yes.
us the protocol.
That was Mercola, though.
No, it wasn't Marcola. It was the other doctor. If somebody knows the other doctor protocol.
John Flick says less time pooping. True story, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can skip days.
Days. My dog goes like once every 5 days even. She's a carnivore too.
Gary wants to know if you can have salad. Why would you do that, Gary? Why torture yourself with rabbit food if it's complete unnecessary?
You won't find that you really desire it because you're just going to be so satisfied with your meat.
Now,
I mean, if you want to do it, go
I can
crazy.
see women wanting to do these things for psychological reasons or whatever, right?
No, I don't.
But, well, yeah. But I can see some women or whatever. But
here's the thing. If you got to keep what you got to keep, like my friend, when I started, I was like, I can't get rid of my 2 green drinks a day. She's like, keep them. I'm like, I can't get rid of my smoothie once a day. Like I mentally have to have that for the first couple weeks.
Right.
And she's like, keep it.
It goes away, y'all.
It went away anyway.
You're just like, I don't need that. I don't want it. I'm not going to take the time. I don't need to spend the money.
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing this?
It felt really weird to put my green powder in the back pantry room.
The reason you want to know if you can have a salad is because you think it's healthy. You think it's benefiting you. You think it's doing something positive for you. That's the only reason. I got a buddy at work, and I'll be nice and whatever. And he's supposedly, doing carnivore, and he's like, "Oh yeah, but I gotta have this." And hey, I love green beans. I don't have a problem with green beans. Oh, I just need my veggies with whatever. I'm like, no, you don't, dude. Nobody. Look, at least for me.
Well,
I don't need no vegetables.
I mean, I don't know what kind of vegetables he's eating. Can't be eating potatoes or anything.
No, but it's like nasty. Oh, I love cauliflower. Nobody loves cauliflower.
Well,
nobody loves Brussels sprouts unless you have like a mental imbalance or brain damage. There are those 2 options.
Well, I say keep it and keep going because eventually you're gonna find that you're just eating that like maybe once a week or something, and it's just gonna fizzle out.
Okay,
anyway.
So Gary's saying for variety. I get it. No, you definitely can definitely, because Tammy keeps asking us like what we eat in a week, and I mean, we eat a lot of the same things. I mean,
we ate a lot of the same things before.
We did.
It was very boring.
We ate a very repetitive diet.
Yeah.
So we got the things that we liked, and we just kind of did that
over and over and over.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I do is we do a lot of ground beef. So I do ground beef for breakfast at least 2 or 3 times a week usually, and we'll slap a bunch of butter on top of that and put some fried eggs on top of that. That is amazing. Just like fabulously amazing. Ground beef, butter, fried eggs. You could do scrambled eggs with it. That's good too. And then we do hamburgers a few nights a week because it's cheap and it's easy.
You keto people.
We do roast. And if you're looking for a fatty roast, I highly recommend brisket because it's
and cooking it as a roast.
Yeah. And just chunking it up and cooking that as a roast. It's a lot of fat in that and it's cheaper. And so we do roasts because they're cheap. If you do it that way. And then maybe once a week, maybe we'll do steaks. We try to, stretch our steaks out to, that's like something special. So we don't always do them once a week. And then we try to mix it up like every night or 2. We're doing something different. It's not always hamburgers. Mm-hmm. It's not always roast, or sometimes mixing it together. Like if you have some shredded roast left over, throw some hamburger in with that, throw some beef sausage in with that and make a little mixture. And that's really good. Throw some fried eggs on top of it. Mm-hmm. So just mixing it up.
Yeah, y'all. Eggs is a quintessential key. Eggs, and if you're good with butter's a quintessential key. So it's not just meat. You know what I mean? If you're good, if I was good with butter, I would I would submerge everything in butter. But
Yeah.
it, I have an allergic reaction, and these keto people that love their cauliflower. Okay, I'm gonna prove a point to you. So I love mashed cauliflower with lots of butter, right? You're just looking for a butter delivery system.
I think you
The
are.
purpose of my coffee is just for egg delivery.
Buttery
And that segues perfectly into Carnivore Cure. So he's asking about priming. And so Carnivore Cure is the one. On our interview, he was saying about how he's eating like 36 eggs in a day to protein prime. So that's what got me to ramping up my raw eggs in my coffee, and that's why I'm up to 8 at a time.
Yeah.
And so
we've
Carnivore
never
Cure
specifically done priming.
Yeah, if you could send me a video. You were talking about that 36 egg deal and how if you ate 36 eggs in a day, it kind of has like a
superhuman effect,
a steroid type effect, like if you're lifting or whatever. But I'm very interested in getting more info on
he's
that.
working
and
with
thanks for the super chat.
He's working with, tell me,
Beef and Butter Girl.
Yeah, but I think it's Ryan.
Yes, yeah. He's working with it. Yep.
Beef and Butter gang over there, which is a really good one. I mean, I think it would be cool to do it for 1 month, like have a coach for 1 month and see what that would do. Because I know Bella did 1 month with a coach. I mean, she's been carnivore for years, but she did one. And she took before and after pictures in a month of her body, and it made a huge difference. And she found it really, really difficult to eat the 3 meals a day.
If you have an egg allergy, start with meat and then get rid of some of your issues and then reintroduce eggs. And I can almost guarantee. Now, some people I have a butter issue. Maybe it'll go away. Maybe I'll reintroduce butter.
My good friend who's been carnivore for over a year now, she has an egg allergy and it doesn't stop her from doing carnivore. She can do, I'm trying to think if she can just do the yolks or just do the whites. She can do duck eggs. But she said as soon as she has real eggs, I forget what it is. Like she can play around with like the whites or the yolks.
Bothers her stomach or something. Right?
Yeah. And it's like, allergic, like postnasal drip and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah, she can do duck eggs, but mostly she just doesn't do eggs at all because she just hasn't found a way.
Yeah, there's plenty of other stuff to eat, animal based, And the other thing, I put tallow in my coffee. That's why I want the eggs and the tallow to just ramp up the fat to get that, Yeah. And it gets me through the day.
It's been pretty awesome. It's been really, really awesome. And it's just like so simple.
So simple, easy to prepare food. And you can get complex with preparing steaks and different things. And that's good too. And that's part of switching it up to create variety.
Yeah.
But
I think the fun thing too was that, well, you said butter is essential for a lot of people to get through. And I did encourage my mom about that. And also, if you can tolerate butter, butter's a good thing. And also salt, having a good healthy salt, it really takes your meats to the next level when you can sprinkle some Redmond's real salt on there or some Himalayan pink salt on there. It's really, really, it's so satisfying versus just bland, meat if you're not adding all the seasonings and everything. Salt and butter is just like where it's at, y'all. I mean, and if it might take you a while to get there, you might have to use some sauces for the first couple months until you can get to that point. And that's okay too. Like I think there's room for grace. Don't eat high fructose corn syrup sauces, but find the cleanest thing that's available and give yourself some grace. But it was really fun to show my mom like we could stop and get run through like a breakfast place and get her a breakfast sandwich. I'm like, okay, so look, you got egg and you got cheese,
Yeah, and her mom was here for how many days?
5 days.
5 days, lost 2 pounds.
Yeah, and
That real,
she
y'all.
didn't do it pure.
Hardcore.
She
Yeah,
didn't
she
do it
was drinking
hardcore.
Starbucks.
She was drinking Starbucks every day, and she I'm going to tell all her cheats now.
Ugh.
And she did have
Starbucks.
buns with her hamburgers. And does she have ketchup on her hamburger too? Like, she did not do it super hardcore, but she did the best she could.
Like, so today I had to take a bunch of guys out to lunch for a commercial deal, and we went to Daniel Boone's. I'd never been to Daniel Boone's. They're like, oh, we want to go to Daniel Boone's. Okay. And so I got the triple bacon cheeseburger with no bun, and you could pick. So I did Swiss cheese with the bacon, and it was great, and did the trick. And
Yeah.
so there's real easy options and stuff like that.
So easy.
You know, good cheeses to mix it up and throw in there if you got
Yeah.
like harder cheeses.
Yeah.
And then a baker was talking to Minimalist Carnivore, and he said something about there was some digestive issues with meat sometimes, and he found this real Italian Parmesan. And when he uses that, it immediately fixes the issue. I wish I could recall, but if you listen to Sean Baker's podcast channel, he's got 2 channels. He interviewed the Minimalist Carnivore, and he mentions this certain Italian Parmesan, and he talked about how it aided in digestion, and it resolved this issue.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm just enthralled with just the simplicity of it. Tammy said, did we lose any weight? Yes. I probably lost at least 30 pounds at this point. And
yeah, I lost about 10 pounds. I think I've gained some muscle weight back, but yeah, I definitely lost 10 pounds right off the bat.
And it's good, Tammy, before you start, if you can get your blood work done. My husband had his blood work done, but you want to do a fasting blood work, even though they tell you not to, or they don't recommend it always. It's best. Dr. Chaffy has a video where he explains that, but he said it's best to always do a fasting blood work. So start fasting at 9 o'clock the night before, only water that evening, starting at 9 p.m. And then try to schedule your blood work for the morning. If possible, that would be best. And that way you're going to get your fasting glucose and sugar levels and all that. It's just going to be way better of a baseline for you. And then, of course, after if you're 3 months in or whenever you do your blood work again, do the same method, exact same method. So 9 o'clock the night before, nothing, and then go and have your blood work done. And then you can have really accurate results. So yeah. And measurements are better than the scale anyway, Tammy. Yeah. So because you're going to hit a certain point where your bone density is going to be getting stronger.
It's crazy.
And your bones are going to weigh more and your muscles are going to be developing again. So your muscles weight is going to be putting on. So you might hit like a certain point that you're just seeing your body
Our router just like reset. I'm like, oh, no wonder we froze. Like, yeah, the router.
Thanks for
Hey,
hanging.
we're back. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. That was weird.
Okay, so Carnivore Cure. Did you want to read his?
Yeah, so Raymond at SBG. I just sent the link for the Eggroid cycle. It's working for me. I've eaten over 80,000 calories in 12 days, priming, and lost 7 pounds. Haven't even started fasting yet. That is wild.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, I just think it's really cool that no matter what your goals are, whether it's losing weight or just changing your body composition or
that's what
gaining weight.
That's what I wanted to talk about. So has the audio, it should, as everything cycles back, the stream should improve and the audio should improve. So is it back to good? Because now it says that we're back to full steam. So if you could just let us know 5x5. This whole bone density and body composition. Oh, so this is what I was going to say. So we're at Mountain Readiness, right? And Randy drove up to meet us. And then Matt gave a talk for about an hour, which was really cool. And good now. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. And then 3 folks came up to us, right? And they're like, oh, hey, we all went carnivore simultaneously. Basically, they were 3 friends and they had all went carnivore unbeknownst to the other 2, you know?
Okay.
And one guy had lost like 20 pounds and the other guy said, you know, I did it to lose weight. He's like, I haven't lost any weight on the scale, but my clothes are way, you know, it's just a body composition thing. And the whole body composition thing is very real. And it's wild, y'all. And it's the other thing that's really wild is just how ubiquitous, like,
yeah.
I mean, she doesn't have to wear glasses.
It's kind of crazy. There was somebody else on Dr. Chaffy's.
Kind of absurd, you know, it just sounds like, yeah.
And that doesn't always happen, but and there's different eye problems that don't get resolved, I'm sure. But for me, my eyes just had basic, like the optometrist just said it was like old age, just normal old age, just my eyes were just degenerating. And I tried, like, you know, getting out in the sun more and, you know, doing different things and the vitamin D supplements and all of that. I was doing all of that to try to help my eyes too, but I still was regressing. And I was still having to move up in my little eye readers and I still couldn't read anything. And there was somebody on his live stream this week or last week, and they said the same thing. They said, I don't have to wear glasses anymore. It fixed my eyes.
Yeah, there's several videos. Like, it's so crazy. And this is what's kind of weird and synergistic about the whole thing is because we're all collecting and perceiving all this anecdotal data. Like, there's this person, there's that person, and they're in Australia, and they're in Manitoba, they're in Florida, and they're in South America. And it's just, it's like
he said, he's like, leave a comment if you're watching this. And if anybody else out there has experienced eye improvement, you know, leave a comment. Let me know what your problem was and what, you know, benefits you've seen through it. So that way I can start to collect some of this, because he said that would be really interesting to see exactly what eye conditions are improving on it and that kind of thing, you know? So yeah, but he said he doesn't even really work out like regularly at all. And he's like, people would think by looking at him, oh, you really work out, you really hit the gym hard. And he said he doesn't. Once in a while he gets to work out, but he's like, I don't work out hardcore or anything. It's just,
yeah, if my arm was good, I would work out hardcore, but it's just not, you know, it's a trillion times better than what it was. It's just not perfect. That's all.
It's okay. I'm in the not perfect club too. So
Tammy wants to know if you can drink coffee. I mean,
cheers, Tammy.
Yeah, there you go, Tammy.
Dr. Barry's wife drinks coffee. Lots of other people on Carnivore drink coffee.
Yeah, and I say take it out experiment, take it out. And if you see an improvement, don't add it back. If it
Sure.
doesn't, if it's not impacting you negatively,
Right.
enjoy it. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yep. And Rena from the 5 Minute Body, I would encourage y'all to go check her out. She has amazing interviews over there. It's called 5 Minute Body is her channel. And coffee is her one thing that she has not cut out yet. I think she did try taking it out and then she just added it back in. And she just said, like, it's her one thing that she just enjoys, and she doesn't feel like it's detrimental. Same with Dr. Barry says that. Like, I don't know if Dr. Barry drinks coffee or not. I know his wife does, but he just says, I don't think it can be not a negative or a positive for a lot of people. It's just a neutral kind of.
And you just want your way of eating to be sustainable. You want to be able to sustain it for the longest period of time so you can reap the maximum amount of health benefits. So if that takes you drinking a cup of coffee, then drink a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't drink a pot of coffee, but
No.
you can drink a cup of coffee.
No. Yeah.
And
what I've been doing is at night, even because my little girl was telling me this, this like a few weeks back. She's like, let's have a cup of tea at night. And I don't usually do that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a cup of tea with her. So we've been doing that. And it's just black tea is what I've been having. And I don't even put anything in it. But tonight I went on my walk and I just wanted a little more fat. So I just put some tallow in here, and I actually got those sweet leaf drops and I tried them, and y'all, I'm not really crazy about them. I'm not big on like the
stevia
taste, the artificial taste. And I know it's
which is what's kind of fascinating in the Relight and the Bergs. Like, I don't get the stevia taste in either of those, which is kind of nice. But in those drop kind of stevia things, I
get that aftertaste, that artificial, and I'm like, I don't know. I think I'd rather just put my little pumpkin spice in there by myself and not it's just spices, y'all.
Patrick, man, I can attest to that. And if you listen to the Dr. Baker interview, he was an orthopedic surgeon. So that's what he did. I know he did knees. I think he did shoulder replacements as well, but it'll maximize the positivity of the best your joints are going to be.
Right. And then you can go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any of the doctors are against modern medicine. Chaffy's still doing surgeries over there. Dr. Baker was still doing surgeries up until, he was even considering he might have to have a surgery on the thing that he was going through right now recently. He said, I'm going to try everything that I can with the diet changes. And then if it doesn't help, this is surgery.
And for the shoulder, man, just super up the fat. Make sure your fat content is, and like even experiment with going like 80-20, meat, fat to meat or whatever, but ramp up the fat because that's what's going to flush the inflammation. And best, all the best on that, because I can really relate. Yeah. Because when this shoulder was completely gone and smoked, and this was even pre-surgery, my good shoulder started hurting, and I'm just like, wow,
you have arthritis in your good shoulder too.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't this. If this happens, like, I'm gonna be, I'm not gonna be able to function.
And it was interesting on that interview with Dr. Baker. He said, "Who's to say you didn't have or you don't have arthritis through?" I mean, they x-rayed your two shoulders and there's arthritis there, but who's to say it's not in your spine and it's not here and there? I still have this
thing in my heel. I don't know if it's like plantar fasciitis, but when I move my foot a certain way, when I flex my foot forward, I get a pain in my heel. And that still hasn't alleviated yet. And I'm 140 days. So keep on doing the thing. And it's super minor.
Another thing to share with him would be about the shoulder is that you did a lot of relief from the stem cell that they took.
Oh,
People.
sure. Yeah, like if it was shoulders or if it was surgery or stem cell, I would absolutely recommend real stem cell, your stem cell.
Right.
I would recommend Donnie Buford in Dallas, Texas. People fly in from all over the world for that guy, and he is absolute and very reasonably priced. I mean, I paid out of pocket
You pay like $5,000.
5 grand. Yeah, same day. Uh, and the guy is just awesome. Takes the time and explains the whole process, educates you, and does all the procedure himself. And he knows what's up, and he is an absolute expert. So.
And that did give you a lot of pain relief.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah. Not total pain relief, but it gave you a lot.
It gave me total pain relief, but like I had no range of motion in my arm at all. Right. So, so you have the pain of when your arm is kind of frozen in a non-usable position,
Right.
And they did the bicep tendinosis thing too. So,
right. But that was after.
But the stem cell injections, completely like remove the pain.
Yeah. And not all stem cells are created equally. No. This is like, do your research and go and get your own stem cells done.
Yeah, this ain't some brought to you by Pfizer thing.
No, they had to take them right out, fresh out of his body, spin them, and then inject them back into.
Yeah, and it's an experience.
Yeah, we're not going to say it's not invasive, but
it
wasn't
feels crazy, but it doesn't technically hurt, but it's they're born into your hip, and you're awake, and it's like, and it feels like they're born into your hip. Now it doesn't hurt, but it's like,
I'm glad we didn't know.
Yeah,
don't look into it too much. Just get it done. I wouldn't,
you'll only do it if you're in severe pain, but it works. And the challenge is like, this is going to improve the issue, and then you're going to plateau, and best case scenario in 3 to 5 years we'll have to do it again. And
when you're desperate,
you're not looking forward to that.
Right. But when it comes to quality of life, you'll do anything.
Oh, I would the way it worked, I would totally do it again. I'm not.
How much meat do I eat, or does it fluctuate? Little Ford Schoolhouse. I love the name of your channel. So it fluctuates. I keep playing with it and trying to figure it out. And I do different little tests on myself. But here's the thing. If I'm hungry, I do follow the Kelly Hogan, Dr. Berry rule of thumb that if I'm hungry, I eat. So that's kind of how it goes. But I did go through a phase for a couple months probably that I was doing at least a 16-hour natural fast. So I would stop eating at some point the night before, and then I would fast except for my coffee in the morning, which I consider that still a fat fast because it's just my tallow in my coffee. There's no sweetener in my coffee. And then I would eat around 1:00 in the afternoon. I might go back to that. I was thinking about going back to it, but I just haven't naturally done that yet because we have this amazing beef sausage now in the house. And then when I make it for the little ones in the morning, it ends up smelling so good. And then I end up taking a little bit of that. So today I had beef sausage in the morning, and then I had a little more beef sausage in the afternoon. I just had some pieces of it, and I just kind of snacked on that. And is that it? Is that all I had? That's all I've had so far today, y'all. Beef sausage, kind of on demand. I don't know how many I ate. I didn't keep track. I just ate them when I felt like it. So that's the beauty of this. You don't have to track. You don't have to weigh. You don't have to measure. You don't have to overthink it. You can just eat when you're hungry and eat until you're full. And if that means once a day, if that means 3 times a day.
Man, that's a killer prep, this rock pot. You heat up a rock and you put it in the rock pot and it'll cook stuff. That is like a killer prep. We should just buy one for the pantry just to have it.
You
know, like
heat
if
a
the power-
stone in the
Yeah.
fire. Then you put it in.
Brad saw it at a homesteading conference, and then that sounds great. And a couple $100. I just looked it up.
But we have a wood stove that I could cook on.
Yeah, but the rock pot
Redundancy.
Yeah, 2 is 1.
That's right.
One is
Sorry,
none.
sorry. The
Yeah,
prepper
what kind
in
of
me.
prepper are you? Billy, tell her,
I have
Billy.
a wood stove. I could cook
Tell her,
on a
Billy.
wood stove.
How do we learn? Is there a book? There's several books. Dr. Baker wrote a book called The Carnivore Diet.
There's one.
And dude, I knew Brad would have a discount code. Thank you, buddy.
Farmer Brad. And I mean, if you're a book person, yeah, get the Carnivore Diet book, I guess. There's lots of different doctors who've written lots of different books. Or just find a YouTube channel.
Yeah, there's so
just eat
many.
meat.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
It's not complicated.
It's really not hard.
It's very like there definitely doesn't need to be a book.
It's like,
you know,
eat
that's what's
meat,
even more beautiful.
Drink water, salt your food.
Yeah.
And eat when you're hungry and eat till you're full. And when you're done eating, stop eating. Don't overeat. Just eat until you're full. And that's it. That's the diet. And if you want to add eggs, great. And if you want to add some creamer in your coffee, not high fructose corn syrup, but cream.
Yeah, without
cream,
carrageenan in it.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating now, you know, and we do have a semi-local dairy, but
yeah,
it's fascinating that when you try to just buy heavy
we haven't
cream,
been able to find heavy
it's
cream.
not stinking heavy cream.
We haven't been able to find it.
It's like monkey funk.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, and it's so it's got the carrageenan, but it's got all kinds of thickeners in it because it ain't stinking heavy cream.
Yeah, it's got like maltodextrin and all different other crap in it. So so I was just buying canned heavy coconut cream, full fat coconut cream, because I could get it by the case. And it was just coconut cream. So it was one ingredient, even though whatever, coconut cream is keto, but it's not carnivore. So whatever. But I like that taste. But I like just tallow
it's
too.
No carb. I mean, so you're still
there's
relatively
no carbs.
speaking.
It's like less than 1 carb.
Tammy wants to know if you can eat canned beef, chicken, and pork. Sure. You can eat Spam. And you know that jelly in Spam is all the fat, and that's the best part of it. You know?
Yep. You can just do ground beef with butter. You can do, I told my mom, just get those big boxes of burger patties already done. Make sure it's just beef. And have those boxes of burger patties frozen in your freezer, ready to go. And you can just take them out, fry them up. I also say have in the beginning months, have a bunch of different meats. If you're going to cook something, cook extra, have a bunch of different meats in your refrigerator ready to go. So that way, when you're hungry, you're just like, oh, cool. There's beef, there's sausage, there's roast. I can take any of those, throw them in a pan, throw some butter, throw some tallow, whatever in it, throw a bunch of fat in there and heat it up. Throw some bacon grease in there. We did bacon the first month or two to keep, I just say, to keep the troops' morale up, right?
You don't need no stinking vegetables.
But everybody got excited about bacon. Bacon was always a treat in our house, and it was not something that we always did because, one, it's expensive, and that's probably the only reason. And so I did lots of bacon because I wanted everybody to be excited about this thing. Bacon. If that's what it took, then that's what we did. So, you know.
What's the difference between coconut milk and coconut cream?
Coconut milk is lower fat content.
Much lower fat, yeah. And coconut cream is going to be very high fat content.
Right. But there's no shame in the game.
Same thing with, you know, like milk and cream. It's the exact same, you know.
Right.
Same
because
deal.
our grocery store sells the lower fat, just canned coconut milk. The canned stuff is great just to have on the shelf, and it's just coconut milk. And you can just pour it in your coffee too, and that's fine. It's less than 1 carbohydrate. So, you know,
Chuck shoulder in the slow cooker.
the carnivore police haven't came and arrested
And
me yet.
heavy in collagen. Patrick eats a 1.5-pound burger with 8 eggs. There you go. OMAD.
Okay. Yeah. 1 meal a day. Yeah, you can do that. I mean, you can do whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. Whatever's going to keep you on the boat.
The whole counterintuitive thing was easy for me because, like, I haven't believed the narrative since like post 9/11. Like, I don't believe anything that anybody says, you know. So that made so much sense for me. Like, yeah, this isn't counterintuitive because I don't believe anything anybody says. And if we've learned anything in the last 3 years, you know, about trusting the science.
Don't get us thrown off. We already got a warning.
Yeah, y'all. While we were away, we got some bogus. Well, since I went to re-education camp again, since I went to re-education camp, our strike got knocked down to a warning. No, our warning got knocked off finally. So then we got a warning on a video that's like 2 or 3 years old that nobody's watched in like 2 or 3 years.
It's about the queen.
Yeah.
When the queen died.
The queen is dead.
And yeah, TD got in trouble for it. So there you go.
Old lizard beast.
I think don't say the same things that got you the warning.
Bring it on. Come and get you some. I'm a carnivore.
Well,
I hate you.
So I think next time.
Why can't y'all just watch us on Rumble?
I think next time the YouTube bus is going to pull up right in front of our house and they're going to take
No,
you
this
in,
time you
in
got
handcuffs.
to come to the camp.
I know.
This time you got to come to the camp if you want us to take away y'all strike.
I think they are. I think they're going to send the bus next time to gather him
the short
up
bus.
because
I'll wear my helmet.
He's been through the training a couple times now.
They put a
Did you?
They put a what's the thing that goes in a wine bottle? A cork. They put a cork on the end of my fork, or so I don't stab myself.
You're corking your mouth. Did you have to fill out a little like Scantron?
Yeah.
Did you have to
scan my eyeball? Give them a blood sample.
Oh my.
Scumbag.
Yeah, you love it getting warnings from like a year ago.
Yeah,
That's
2
awesome.
years ago.
Yeah. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
No, come on.
We
need a fact checker.
Yeah,
on that.
I'll fact check that. But,
yeah, it was a while ago. Anywho, boys got bikes.
Yeah, the boys got mountain bikes.
And they are like super into it.
And and Carlos, sorry, Carlos, I totally spaced, but yeah, Carlos was asking what the boys were doing. So one of our stinking ornery young bulls kept wanting to bust the fence. So we tried to take him to the butcher before and we couldn't get him on the trailer. So then today, snotty nose, like popped the fence in 3 or 4 spots. And then he brought some unwilling accomplice with him, you know, it's like father the leader. Yeah, I'm like, plug him where he stands.
Oh, he's been such a bugger. No rules apply to this guy. You know what? He's like TD in YouTube re-education camp, and he doesn't care. He's just like, what fence? I don't see a fence. And
nothing's worse, y'all, than a cow that knows that he can just
he just walks right through. He's done it since he was born. He was a baby and he walked through the fence. He just helped himself to the hay, did whatever he wanted to do. Didn't care that there was the rest of the herd. Yeah. So from the time he was a little baby, and then we were like, well, when he gets big enough, he's not going to be able to go through the fence. Nope. He kept pushing his way through the fence. So the boys a couple weeks ago had to go and like rerun a whole area of barbed wire fence. It took them all day. I mean, they worked hard rerunning all like 5 strands of barbed wire, getting it all tight. 2 different big places. And then the neighbor calls and says, this bull, he goes up to the fence. You can go right up to him and pet him. He's like super friendly, but He goes up to the fence, he puts his horns through, and then he just pushes through.
Yeah, people don't understand,
until it
like,
just
cows, barbed wire. Nah, those cows, they can.
If
The
they
only reason they stay in the fence is because they want to.
right, they're willing.
Because
Right.
they can.
It doesn't even bother them.
Large part of the fence they had to replace was from old Walter, the Charlet that our neighbor had that always wanted to come mingle with all ladies.
And he didn't care
and he
about
didn't care.
barbed wire. Just walk right through it.
And it's incredible. You watch especially a big bull like that, and they just, and it's just like ripping there. It's like,
it's just like you with the YouTube guidelines.
Yeah, it's like me and community guidelines, except barbed wire is very visible and tangible and understandable, unlike ephemeral, non-existent.
The guidelines.
Charity.
So they got our bull, our little baby bull. He's less than a year old, but they got him in the pen about a month ago. He ate with Destiny at the butcher shop. And because we were just done, they were like, we've already replaced all this fence. We're going to take him in and we'll just have him done. Right. So they got him in the little round pen area with the gates and everything. And it's like legit, y'all, like newer, like metal fence panels. And they're planted into the ground with T-posts. He just took his horns like slow motion. The boys told me this. I don't know if they told you this. And he just like lifted up the gate panel and just walked right out underneath them. The doctor is cracking up today. We were telling him Matt had a follow-up appointment for his shoulder today. It was 6 weeks follow-up appointment. And we were telling him cow stories. And so that was pretty funny. So anyway, the bull went to the sale barn,
y'all,
today. So. Yeah. And now the boys have a whole nother day.
And by tomorrow,
fixing barbed wire.
Let's see. Hold on. I think we got our
China. I have to have my China. China because China. Stop
it. Well,
hey, Tyson is investing. I mean,
you're welcome, China, because you're gonna have some good grass-fed beef over there.
Hope Xi Jinping. I hope you choke.
Have some good grass-fed beef, courtesy of the Texas boys.
Oh, that was cyberbullying. I meant that. Oh no, what will the AI think?
Oh,
I really just despise.
Oh my.
Goats are terrible. Goats are terrible.
Yeah, that's true. And they don't have as much meat as
Did I mention that goats are terrible?
They're always getting out. Yeah, that's all they do is look for a way to get out or rub and destroy your fence, climb on your fence.
Goats are terrible. Look, y'all, I don't know if you're Christian or not, but there's a reason why God calls lost people goats. All right.
Sheep are pretty. No, sheep are pretty terrible.
No, sheep are great. We had sheep. I like sheep.
No, sheep are the dumbest animal.
Sheep are not goats, though.
Pretty dumb.
Sheep are dumb. Goats are stupid. Like goats are terrible.
Goats are just rebellious on purpose.
Yeah, they're wicked.
Sheep are just stupid.
Goats are wicked. And God's angry with the wicked every day.
And that's why God calls us sheep, because we're just stupid.
Yeah, we're just stupid. We're not evil and wicked. Goats are evil. Cattle is the best.
Wow.
Yes, Carlos, cattle is the best.
We did love our goats.
Yeah, we loved them.
We did love Moses. Them. And Aggie and Maggie.
Oh yeah, I like Ags and Mags.
Eggs and Mags.
Yeah.
But they were stubborn.
Oh yeah, and I love the goat milk too. It was very good. I mean, man, some of that Nubian wool was incredible.
It's very good. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Jersey cow milk was even better. Especially those half and half.
A2.
Especially those half and half girls.
Changing.
We would put it in that big jug in the refrigerator. We had like 2 big jugs in the refrigerator, always those big glass, like those lemonade, with the spouts. And we had them, and then the cream would come to the top, and then you could
the cream rises to the top, y'all.
The milk right out of the spigot, out of the bottom. And old man farmer taught us that. And then you could scoop your cream from the top and put it in your coffee, and it was like ice cream. It was like so thick. But best random marriage advice? No, random question.
Random question. Best marriage advice. Take it away, Faith.
stay married.
Stay married. Don't quit.
Don't quit.
Best marriage advice.
There you go.
Suck it up,
Don't quit.
buttercup.
Even when you're not happy,
Yeah, get happy.
happy
Best
comes and
marriage
goes.
advice.
Happy comes and goes.
Yeah.
And God didn't promise us to be happy. So
Nope.
sometimes people aren't happy
That's
for
true.
a long time, and then they get
They
happy.
eventually get happy.
Yeah.
It's like when you're ill and you're sick for like 20 years and you think, you know, well, I'll be a vegan and I'll do all these things and I'll take lots of vitamins, and you still feel sick. And then all of a sudden you change your diet and you're like, wait a minute, I feel good. Like, you mean it was just dietary? And I mean, honestly, like, all joking aside, with even these like chemical and hormonal imbalances, like, maybe, you know,
there's a lot to it.
you know, there's, you know, who was I was talking to a coworker today about like just going meat based for the hormone regulation
to
and
be a man.
Well, I was referring to the more genteel sex and their hormone imbalances, and it makes them go.
I was just thinking about
crazy.
how manly you are when you eat meat.
Oh, yeah.
There's
But,
that too.
Do we study the verbs? Like verbs as in like verbs and sentences?
Pronouns? What are we talking
My
about?
husband has been talking about carnivore for a few months. Just do it. 30 days, not going to kill you. And you'll be amazed. And then you'll come back 30 days later and you will drive from Orlando, Florida to thank me. All right. Where is Randy? I was expecting him to be on. I hope Randy is doing well.
Yeah,
Randy,
try it.
if you can hear the sound of my voice, thank you, brother. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, you just got to try it. It's hard to put it into words until you try it. And, you know, doing some, this is what Dr. Chaffy said in his, I think it was his last live stream. I'm not sure, maybe a couple live streams ago, but he just said doing some is better than doing none.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yep.
you know, these people that are like, well, if
I
you
can't do it for 5 years. Who's do
Or-
it for a week?
yeah,
Like, what are you
no,
talking-
or they're like, well, I can't give up this and this and this
Right.
and that, but that's okay.
Right, give up the
Still,
stuff, yeah.
meat is still good for you. So meat doesn't stop being good for you. Eggs don't stop being good for you because you're eating French fries. The French fries are always going to be bad for you.
Yeah.
Take out the French fries. And if you can't take out the French fries right now or whatever, still that doesn't make the hamburger bad for you. The hamburger is still good for you. So the eggs are still going to be good for you. So still do the things that are good for you, because that's what feeds your brain. Your brain needs protein and fat.
Yep.
And you need to work on getting rid of all the other
Scientific
stuff.
Fat.
You know,
And they want you low fat. And you want to know why we have the most amount of mental illness, well, and morbid obesity and all that stuff. But, Carlos is trying to make me feel optimistic, saying the stream is a little bit non-shadow ban.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Well, don't.
Thanks,
And
Carlos.
Permapasture, Billy at Permapasture, we did a video at Mountain Readiness. He posted it today. So that gave us some non-organic, organic traction.
Yeah.
That's like.
And Matt's been trying to do the
And we're doing the
shorts.
shorts, y'all, and it's against everything that whatever, but we're doing it because that's how you have to play the game. So we're playing the game. We'll play the game a little bit.
Yeah, Matt's
And they're cool. They, and hopefully my purpose of the short is hopefully it drives you to the long form video so you can go learn something and be intelligent and not be.
I enjoy watching my favorite people when they do a short. Like if Dr. Barry does a short, or whoever, some of my favorite people on YouTube, if they do a short, I click on it and watch it because I'm interested. Not in everyone, but just because I like those people. Tips when going carnivore: don't try to be perfect.
Yeah, just do what you
perfect.
can, and don't eat till you're full. That's going to be the best advice. Eat till you're full so you won't cheat. And don't. So many people self-sabotage, right? And before they even start, well, I just need my veggies with whatever. No, you don't. You're plotting and planning your your failure.
Yeah. If you
And you're
need a cup of
baking it
hot
into the
tea
cake.
at night, have a cup of hot tea at night. If you need, don't put sugar in it. But if you need, if you need sweet leaf drops to get you through and that keeps you happy, do what keeps you happy and motivated. My girlfriend, who she's over a year in carnivore, she did frozen blueberries, and she, my kids still do frozen blueberries.
And that, through faith and grace, said that she's addicted to sugar. This will destroy your sugar addiction. And it is like crack. Okay. Like literally from a molecular level. And it was designed, especially refined sugar and all these different derivations of sugar. And it will destroy that. And if you do want to reinsert some fruit to help alleviate that whole thing, like real fruit, and preferably in season and local and all that cool stuff.
And you can look at the lower glycemic fruits too. Like if you look up keto friendly fruits and look up like a list, like the top 10 keto friendly fruits, you're going to see like raspberries at the top, your berries, right? Blueberries, I think might be next. Avocados, I think, are on there, but you're going to see, what else? Pears, I think, might be on there, but you're going to probably see them in some
Is
type
avocado a fruit?
It's technically a fruit. Yes.
Yeah, I'm technically a fruit too. Yeah.
So I would just say try to stick with lower glycemic fruits. But for
Not
us,
in that way.
having the frozen blueberries in the freezer was the lifesaver for my kids, definitely. And me in the beginning too, because I would just get like a little cup of frozen blueberries. If you want something to munch on in the evenings, just take your little coffee mug and fill it up with blueberries, and you can sit there. You're probably going to find that after a week or so, you're going to be eating less and less blueberries. And then you're going to be like, wow, I don't think I need these hardly at all.
How did I miss that? Patty said that her 14-year-old son and her are transitioning to carnivore. That is great.
It's great.
Well, best of success to you and y'all's and yours.
Our boys have just noticed significant improvements in their skin, in their hormones, in just the fluctuation in their mood for one younger teenage son in particular. Just totally leveled him out with the big swings in mood, which makes sense. Yeah. Carbohydrates, sugar going up and down, eating a piece of cake or whatever, some kind of high carb, and then you're crashing, it does the same thing to moms, so it does the same thing to all humans, I'm sure. But speak as a mom, it definitely is hard to stay even when your sugar's going up and down like that.
You guys have a lovely family. Do you guys watch Doug and Stacey?
Yes.
Yeah, on occasion.
Yeah,
we don't. We unfortunately
used to watch like constantly when we like several years ago. We were big Doug and Stacey people.
Yeah, and we just don't get to watch.
We don't garden anymore either. Yeah. A lot of our YouTube favorite channels were all gardening kind of stuff, and then I'm like, okay, well, like I'll go to watch something. I'm like, why am I watching
this? We are
this?
getting ready to launch the Food Farce in a Box. That'll be in the next. That'll be very soon. Yeah. I mean, we're ready to take cutting, so that'll be cool. We'll be announcing that and pushing that out.
Yeah. But all my gardening channels are just not as fun anymore.
Right. It is very fun not to garden, though. That's very rewarding. There's an inordinate amount of reward in not growing vegetables.
There's a very rewarding thing in not growing them, watering them, weeding them, fertilizing them. Preparing the bed, taking down the bed.
Texas weeds, y'all, are next level.
Canning them, preserving them, freeze drying them. Can I go on and on? Dehydrating them. Like there's a lot of work in all of that all got checked off my list. So now my canning will be meat, and bone broth.
All right. We got people getting ready for cutting. So we're going to, and I might have hopefully some Primo select cuttings available. Probably we'll do some of that. So, yes, Patrick Smith, Dr. Baker was mocking the Harvard study. They had the one that it caused cancer, and then they had the other one that it, the diabetes. So which is kind of funny. These numbs, they do this stuff, and it's like way to just discredit yourself even more. Like you're not. All right, y'all. Well, it's almost 9 o'clock, and 9 o'clock all time. We got to go to bed. I don't know where y'all people live on the West Coast or what, but
Yep.
But it's been great. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll probably multi-stream. We're going to be on, it's Hump Day Meetups, and it's Lawrence's channel, and the name of his channel, but we'll be multi-streaming tomorrow night at 7. So I think it starts at 7 or 5. So we'll multi-stream it to our channel. So if y'all and he's a fellow Texan and a carnivore. So we'll be taking questions and doing a lot of fun stuff. We'll probably have other people on the channel as well. So it'll be cool.
Okay.
I've never had any kidney stones, so I didn't notice anything because my dad had kidney stones in there, and kidney stones are terrible.
I think Dr. Berry answers some of those issues related to kidney stones. So if you have any or have had any in the past forming for a long period of time and you didn't even know about it, and then you get into a very clean diet, they will probably at some point
exacerbate on you. Yeah.
Like dislodge and pass. They'll be small enough to pass, he said, because before they were probably too large to pass. I don't know, but you can go check out Dr. Berry or one of the other doctors and ask them specific questions about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
all right, y'all. Appreciate you. Y'all have a blessed night, and check out TheTexasBoys.com. If you need anything, hit us up. They packaged up a ton of stuff today that'll go out tomorrow. So we appreciate it. Love y'all. We'll see y'all in the next video.